Hey everybody, it's Nate and Kaylee, and we're here at the Maps 4 campaign kickoff. The theme is Love Your OKC, so we want to make sure that you guys know that you got to get out and vote on December 10th. Express your love for OKC, Maps 4, this is a great thing. We're going to have a lot more information about all the Maps 4 projects in today's episode.
That's right, in addition to the campaign, we're going to talk a little bit more about state fair food, our experience at Parlor OKC last weekend, and more. So please stay tuned for all of the podcasts for more.
All right, guys, yes, we're back, and we're back indoors.
And in air conditioning.
And in an air conditioning.
A real benefit.
Air-conditioned environment. It is a very, again, why Oklahoma City is better in 2019 than in 1889.
For many, many reasons, including air conditioning.
Correct, that's right. So this really is the best time to be in Oklahoma City, and we're all very excited. You know, part of that has to do with the Maps 4 campaign.
Absolutely, I'm still on a high from the campaign launch for sure. I know we have 3 months of the campaign until December 10th, whenever we all get to vote yes, but for right now, I'm super happy to see it kick off, and I can't wait to talk more about it today.
So we already mentioned some of the things that we're going to talk about today, but we also just wanted to thank you guys for joining us again. This is episode 5 of Audacity, the Velocity OKC show.
That's right, and if you guys are new here, welcome. If you have listened to us a few times, we hope that you'll leave a rating for us on Apple Podcasts. That does help other people find us and listen to all the great things that are happening here in Oklahoma City. So please rate, review, subscribe, do all the things to make sure that you get this message in your ears every 2 weeks.
So before we get into the Maps 4 campaign stuff and talking about that a little bit more, we recently got an opportunity to go to the opening of Parlor OKC, which we've talked a little bit about before.
That's right. I mean, a new trend kind of that we're seeing all over the place, but especially right now in Oklahoma City, are food halls, giving you the chance to try a bunch of different restaurants all in one place. I'm a personal big fan of that concept. So we were able to attend the soft opening thanks to our friends at Candor PR, and I loved it. What did you think about it?
I had a great time as well. I thought it was pretty neat, multiple levels, pretty kind of similar to the way that the collective is laid out, but a little bit different, but kind of a lot of nice places to kind of go and explore. They've got a nice rooftop area that you can go out and take your drinks or your food out there and enjoy kind of.
A really nice bar. What I liked about the bar area is they had the lounge in addition, like adjacent to that. So that was I think a fun vibe when you walked in, a good place to relax if you're looking to go have a drink or whatever.
Yeah.
So.
And the other thing that I liked about the bar is that they had an old-fashioned on tap, which was pretty nice.
I did not pick up on that.
Yeah.
Wow.
Well, and I'm an old-fashioned fan.
Me
but
too.
Sometimes I feel a little bit guilty ordering one because it is quite a lot of work for the bartender, so I feel a little bad about it.
But if it's on tap,
But if it's on tap, yeah, they just fire it out there and everything's all good. And it tasted great, so it was a well-mixed little cocktail. I'm disappointed that I missed out on that, but it gives me something to look forward to next time when I go visit. I think they had 7 restaurants in-house, and we were able to try food from all 7 of them. It was exciting to see Pachinko Parlor back in action. Pachinko Parlor is back.
I have missed them desperately, so being able to sample their food again was fantastic. They had pizza, burgers, a lot of different options, and it was all really, really good. So I look forward to going back and sampling it some more.
And you mentioned that the pizza place was probably your favorite.
It was incredible. It was a thicker crust than
kind of a Chicago style.
Yeah, a little Chicago style. Yeah. So I definitely enjoyed that.
And it was in that rectangular type of pan.
It was so good.
Yeah, the cheese was kind of crusting up around the corners, and
it was tasty. Probably my favorite one, but like I said, all 7 were awesome. The drinks were great. Definitely something for anyone to try, so we encourage you guys to check it out.
Yeah. If you aren't aware, that is sort of in the Automobile Alley area, so it's on 6th Street. You can actually, I think most of the parking, if you want to try to park there's street parking on 6th, but their parking lot, as it were, you want to come in off of 7th. Yeah, and so that's sort of in between Oklahoma Avenue and Broadway. They're in the Automobile Alley area. So yeah, go and check that out for sure. We appreciate that. The other neat thing about the development there, that Central Exchange development in which Parlor is located, is that it is also home to Eote's new coffee shop.
That's right.
And they're a locally owned roaster, and they do a great job with their coffee, and so we got to check that out the other day. And if you're watching this on video, then you're going to see some shots of
I was actually not there. I was on vacation when you guys were able to go. So tell me, what was your experience like?
Well, they have a really good cold brew nitro that you just can't go wrong with, and they had some really nice looking pastries, although even given my affinity that we've discussed, I think there may have been a cinnamon roll, and I didn't have one.
I think something might be wrong with you. I'm concerned.
Yeah, there was a lot of action. It was a lot of action going on in there, and I was a little bit discombobulated, kind of overwhelmed with all the great choices. I just wasn't sure what was happening, and so, but yeah, I finally settled in on that nitro cold brew, and it was good.
Seems like that would be a good choice, and again, a reason to go back is to try.
A reason to go back. I'll be frequenting that area, the Central Exchange Development and General Parlor and the coffee shop, Eote Coffee Shop, because of its proximity to my domicile.
Exactly, it's great for you.
So, yeah, so we're excited about that.
So you were telling me earlier, as someone who grew up in Oklahoma City with a fondness for Whitewater Bay, there's been some company news there. What's going on?
There's some company news, yeah. It's actually being renamed Six Flags Hurricane Harbor.
Oh.
So Whitewater Bay is no more, and if you're an old school Oklahoma Cityan like me, you may have really just gotten used to calling it Whitewater Bay rather than just Whitewater, just here recently in the last couple of years. So, but now we have a new name, Hurricane Harbor, and they actually have a new slide that they're pretty excited about to debut next season.
Okay.
So if you're watching the video, you're going to see some shots of what that's going to look like.
What's it called?
Wahoo Racer.
Well, that sounds fun.
Wahoo Racer.
The Wahoo Racer.
Which is fun to say and probably even more fun to ride. So
I would imagine so.
yeah, that's right. So you want to go and check that out for sure. Hurricane Harbor, Six Flags Hurricane Harbor.
It's exciting, yeah. Exciting.
They're going to do some new things.
Branding, so.
Right, going to do some new things as well as part of the rebrand. So yeah, be sure to check that out.
So Nate, for me at least, the first sign of fall in Oklahoma City is the State Fair commercials that you see. You know, oh, State Fair is coming.
Yes,
blah,
the
blah,
great State Fair of Oklahoma.
Exactly. I am personally very excited about it. I love the State Fair. I do not miss it. And one of the best parts, as we all know, is the food. So I want to.
That's true.
I want to play a little game with you today.
Okay.
I brought a list of all of the new foods that are coming to the State Fair and a few classics.
Okay.
And I'm going to describe them to you. I want to know if you would try them or not. There's some pretty zany options.
Zany. I like that term.
And Nate promised me he had not looked at this beforehand, so.
I did not. Now, I should also preface this by saying that as a child, I actually really enjoyed the fair, and it was sort of the highlight of the fall, really, and in a lot of ways. You know, looking forward to that and going to check out some of the new things and some of the prizes that you could win.
Absolutely.
For some reason, I remember when I was a kid, it was those expandable swords. It was like you had to win those things that you just sort of fling out and they turn. So, you know, you got to go to the fair to win a sword for some reason. And I remember those being really fun, which doesn't seem to be fun at all right now. So I'm not sure how that works.
I feel like you need to revisit it this year. I think you could rekindle the fun in this, I'm pretty sure.
But play some games, ride some rides, check out some of the things on display. I thought that was a really good time when I was a younger kid. But these days, I don't think I've been to the fair in probably around 10 years.
I don't understand.
Yeah, I know. It's a little bit surprising. But I know a lot of people that go and really enjoy it, you know, specifically for the food. So
there's concerts. I mean, you can go to Disney on Ice. You can see PBR, like so many options no matter what you're into. So I'm a big fan. And of course, like we said, the food is my number one reason for going. You can't really get it anywhere else. Okay. Especially some of these foods that I'm about to share with you. So I want to know, I'm going to read what it is. I want to hear if you would eat it or not, okay? Okay. So the first thing, and I'm going to tell you, I'm going to guess that you would like this. Okay. But I'm not 100% sure. This is a hot Cheeto pickle dog. It is a pickle in a stick, dipped in hot Cheetos, and then deep fried.
Oh yeah, I eat that.
I knew it.
Yeah, I love hot stuff. I mean, do you think it's flaming hot? Is it flaming hot?
I think
it's the red stuff?
I think so.
Okay,
that's why I was like, Nate is for sure gonna love this.
That flaming hot red is a good flavor.
And pickles and deep fried. I mean, it's like a great combination of three things.
Yeah, that sounds great. Okay, I would try that.
Okay, here's the next one. This one's called the Fry Bread Burger. This is a half-pound burger with funnel cakes for buns.
Funnel cakes for buns.
I'm hoping without the powdered sugar, but I'm not 100% sure.
Yeah. Okay. This is with a caveat. I would say I would try it if it does not have an excess of powdered sugar. Maybe a little bit, just to.
A little bit.
If you're going to do a funnel cake bun.
What is the name of that sandwich that has the powdered sugar? The croque monsieur, madame croque.
I don't.
Monte Cristo.
Monte Cristo.
Monte Cristo. You can cut that part out. Okay. So I'm not sure if you're a fan of corn dogs. How do you feel about corn dogs?
I'd be okay with a corn dog.
Okay, well it's a take on a corn dog, except with alligator. So deep fried alligator. Would you try it or not?
Honestly, I would try it if it were free. But as far as
well, that's not how the State Fair food works.
Yeah, that is not how the State Fair food works. So given that's the case, and I know that there, I have a really good corn dog place in my neighborhood that I really like. So
okay.
And I think I'm probably pretty good on the corn dogs insofar as the alligator. Now I would try the alligator. I'll try almost anything.
But not if you.
But if it's, if we're talking like a $15 alligator on a stick, yeah.
Deep fried though. It is deep fried.
Well, yeah.
I'm out on this one too. The alligator is too much for me.
That's pushing it.
Okay, this is not a new food item.
Okay.
It's back for the second year, but it is zany, so I thought I'd throw it in. This one is bug pizza. It says, do you dare experience the nice crunch and added protein of critters on your pizza? Grab a slice topped with scorpions, crickets, or mealworms.
Okay.
Are you in or out?
Well, given my affinity for looking like biblical figures, like I said, maybe this is right up John the Baptist's alley.
Exactly. It's John the Baptist in 2019 on pizza.
That's right. So maybe that might be something to try just because.
Okay, I wanted to throw in some sweet options too. This one is a caramel popcorn pie. So it's caramel popcorn in pie form. What do you think?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
So because I'm a popcorn fanatic as well. I mean,
Exactly.
I love popcorn. Yeah, and who doesn't love pie? Those are all good things.
It's a good combination.
Caramel good, popcorn good, pie good.
Pie crust, yum.
Let's do it.
Okay, last one. Deep fried Coke.
Deep fried Coke. How does that work exactly?
I don't know. And I should know this. I know that deep fried liquids is not anything new at the fair.
Oh, yeah, I know it's possible. But
and they also have deep fried coffee on here as well. I know. Which one would you rather go with? Coffee or Coke?
Probably coffee.
I think you're right.
Yeah, maybe a little bit of caramelization would, I don't know, that could benefit the coffee maybe a little bit more than the Coke.
Yeah.
Or maybe not. I don't know. You get quite a heavy caramel flavor through
It's true.
for Coke anyway, right?
That is true. That's part of the hallmark of the Coke flavor. Other thing here on the list that I know you've mentioned to me before, the Amish donuts. What do you think?
Amish donuts. I mean, I'm intrigued by the idea, frankly, because from what I have read, it's sort of like a really light, kind of glazed, and maybe they have some maple sort of action going on there, which those are all really, really good things.
That sounds amazing.
What do you think about Amish donuts?
I think they sound great. I'd be willing to try it for sure. I'm into the sweets, so yes.
Yeah. Have you heard about the new Amish flu that's been going around? It's only got 2 symptoms.
What are those?
Well, the first one is you get a little hoarse, and then you start to get a little buggy.
No. How many more of these do you have?
That's all I have.
Okay, just the 2. All right. Well, there you go, folks. Amish donuts and some jokes to go with them. Excellent. Oh, man. I'll never recover from that. Wow. Anyway, there is a lot of options to choose from. They have a food finder on their website. So if you're overwhelmed by all of these options, you can get on the State Fair's website, check out their food finder, and then choose, what adventure awaits you in the culinary options that you have in front of you. The fair runs from September 12th through the 22nd. It's 11 days. Like we said, lots of options of fun things to do and see and eat. So we hope you guys will check it out right here in Oklahoma City.
What's your favorite thing to do at the fair besides the food?
Oh, I'm a weirdo, and I really love to go into the home ec building and see all the things that have been crocheted and canned. Actually, when I was a little girl, I got reserve grand champion at my county fair baking bread, and I got to enter it here at the state fair.
Nice.
So I have a fondness for that.
That's very cool. All right. Well, congratulations.
Thank you. I was 8 years old, so the moment has passed, but I appreciate it nonetheless.
You can carry that with you for your whole life, man.
Bragging rights. There was an old lady that beat me, but she had lots of years that she put into that craft, so I'll give her that.
That's right. That happens sometimes. That's okay. So as a person that hasn't been to the state fair for a while, so you mentioned some of the things that you like. So what do you think that I might like to check out at the state fair?
You're a car guy, so the car show
guy,
is absolutely right up your alley.
Oh, yeah, I
so
didn't
that's
even
something
think
you need
about that.
you need to check out. I believe they may have it in the Bennett Event Center, which is one of the newer venues at the state fair.
Maps 3 project.
Thank you, Maps 3. So I think that's the number one thing in addition to just all the food options. For me personally, just walking around, people watching. Okay. I also like to see all the baby animals. That's always fun too. Okay. So there's lots to see and do.
Well, I appreciate you not suggesting to me Disney on Ice, so that actually makes me feel a little bit better. Cars instead of Disney on Ice. Maybe I'm doing something right here. So
exactly.
That's definitely more of the direction that I'm going for. So not that there's anything wrong with Disney on Ice. I know a lot of people like it.
Maybe just don't go without a child. It might look a little
would
creepy.
probably be a good idea. Yeah, that's I would accede to that request.
Okay,
yes,
gotcha.
absolutely. So we kicked off the Maps 4 campaign today.
That's right.
So if you're curious about getting involved with the campaign, the website is www.loveyourokc.com.
Thank you, Mr. Radio Voice.
That's right.
Perfect. Yeah, it was an exciting, warm day, but exciting day for all of us to kick off Maps 4. The breadth of this program is larger in the number of projects that it includes than any maps that has come before it. It's exciting to see so many different organizations and missions represented, you know, as Mayor Holt was talking with all of the coalition supporters behind him. It's really powerful. It's something that I think is going to bring a lot of good to a lot of areas in Oklahoma City. And like I said, we have 3 months until the vote, December 10th. So now's the time to get involved and engage and make sure you're registered to vote. Number one homework item, register to vote now. But I personally am very excited to see the campaign start. It's something we've been waiting for a few months now, just talking about the eventuality of this happening. So it's good to have it finally underway.
Yeah. The other cool thing about this too is really that I think it was in episode 3 that we went through the city council presentations that were sort of meant to inform the council and the public really about where the conversation has gone in terms of Maps 4, what may or may not be included. And so we kind of did a rundown there of all the things that were being presented. And it turns out that everything that was presented actually made it onto the final ballot.
That's
so it's really kind of a surprise, honestly.
It's all 16.
All 16 projects.
All 16 projects that are represented. They're very diverse in what they'll do for Oklahoma City, but there really is something for everyone on the ballot. So that is an exciting thing to hear, and something that I'm very excited for us to get to talk about with a little bit more detail the next 3 months here at the Chamber.
Right. And so they kind of fit into 4 sort of major area buckets, I guess you could say. And so those are human needs, jobs and economy creating initiatives, and then we have neighborhood needs, and then some quality of life needs as well. So it really is sort of a mix of some of the things that we've done in the past with maps and some of the things that we've done in other programs that we voted for. And it really is I think the mayor said the other day that this really is sort of a maps for our time. You know, all the maps programs have been a product of their particular time and place and what the community has felt like it's needed right then. And I think that this really is kind of along those same lines in terms of the programming.
Well, one of the cool things to me about maps is, just like you said, because of the resident input, because of the oversight, the transparency, there is
Citizen
room.
Advisory Board.
Exactly. There's room for people to adapt the program in the future to what Oklahoma City needs. And I think what this gives us is exactly what Oklahoma City needs and wants right at this moment.
Right.
And that's very inspiring.
Yeah, I'm glad to see how that all came out. So we're just going to give you a quick rundown, and we're going to have more about this as we move forward. We may have a special guest on one of our episodes here in the future to talk a little bit more about some of these things. So we don't want to spend too much time on this, but basically the 16 projects, the way that those are broken down are parks. There's quite a big chunk going to parks in general, and that's going to actually touch every neighborhood and city park in the city. So every area should see something with that line item. Youth centers. So there are a couple new youth centers that are proposed to be built and programmed and funded, and so that's going to be really nice to see. And then at least one more senior wellness center.
So that will be in addition to the 4 that were funded through MAPS 3. 2 are complete, 2 are in design.
Those have been very, very popular, and so this is going to help reach a few more people. We've got a line item here for mental health and addiction. So as the chamber, you guys have probably, if you're a longtime listener or watcher of this podcast, you know that
all 5 episodes
that we've been involved in the criminal justice reform effort for quite a while
since
here.
2015.
Right, and a big part of that, basically putting too many people in jail, is the fact that a lot of people are needing some mental health resources and aren't getting them, and they're ending up in jail, and it's just sort of this vicious cycle. It's not good for anybody, and so
we've seen that problem acutely at the Oklahoma County Jail.
Correct.
And there have been a lot of efforts put into place that have reduced that strain on our facility, but there is definite need for more.
Absolutely.
And the things that they propose as part of MAPS 4 is really an answer to that. It's something that is a proposed solution that I think can have a big impact.
Right. Yeah, I think that's correct. The Family Justice Center. So if you were familiar with the group Palomar, it's kind of an offshoot of the Oklahoma City Police Department, as it turns out, dealing with people that find themselves in domestic violence situations and ways to ameliorate that. So definitely seeing a bigger need for those sorts sort of services, and so that's going to help. Transit, there's quite a chunk going to transit in general. So we're talking about new buses, BRT routes, which are bus rapid transit routes, and so those are sort of like kind of mixing a regular bus and a light rail sort of route.
That's true. They normally have dedicated lanes and priority light signals so that they're able
signal prioritization,
to move quicker through traffic.
Yeah, absolutely. 500 new ADA accessible covered bus shelters is part of that as well. So for people that rely on transit, that's going to be great. And really hoping to get more people to sort of integrate the transit system into their daily routines.
Absolutely.
Sidewalks, bike lanes, trails, and street lights, kind of another line item along those same lines. So some of the things that we are working on with the Safer Streets, Better City program that's going on, but that's really going to bump that up a little bit. Homelessness, I think this is probably everybody in the city is aware that this is a growing problem, not just here, but everywhere. So this is supposed to help us integrate a housing first strategy and some.
So this would actually, some of this would construct some temporary housing facilities, is that correct?
I believe that's correct. Construct some housing and do some income appropriate housing for some of those folks and try to get them back up on their feet. Because really, if we can get them sheltered and then kind of move on from there, that's really, it turns out that that's the best thing that we can do. Chesapeake Energy Arena and related facilities. So the city owns Chesapeake Arena.
It was constructed in MAPS
1. That's right. And it's our responsibility to keep that up and make sure that our investment continues to pay dividends by doing appropriate maintenance on it, making sure that that's all up to snuff. And so that's going to be good. Animal shelter. City's current animal shelter is really not in the best shape. Really have a need. Currently euthanizing quite a bit of animals. And so this is going to help us adopt more animals out, have a lot better experience for not only the animals, but the people that come to interact with those and hopefully adopt them and that sort of thing. So I think that's going to be good. Fairgrounds Coliseum. So we were just talking about the fair.
Yeah.
So we mentioned that a lot of the horse shows that are such a big part of our economy are based at the State Fair, and a lot of those types of events and other events that help drive our visitor economy are at the Jim Norick Arena. So
that arena it's
more than 50 years old. I was
going to say, it has to be at least 50, maybe closer to 60.
Right.
To me, I don't know about you, I grew up in a smaller town, and that was the arena that you always got to go basketball playouts.
Right, sure,
and so
the big
for
house.
Me, it has such a nostalgic and exciting memories tied to that. My high school basketball team won state whenever I was a junior.
Oh.
So I have very fond memories of going there, and to think about that getting upgraded for the next generation of people who will experience it for those types of events is really exciting.
Right, yeah, the current arena is really at the end of its useful life. So State Fair has talked about utilizing MAPS 4 along with some other funding sources and really trying to place that up to a more modern standard and something that will allow us to keep those high economic impact events going in Oklahoma City, because those definitely don't want to lose those. We've talked about that before. But so diversion hub, kind of along the same lines of the mental health and addiction, family justice center.
Justice reform.
And justice reform as a whole, correct. Trying to get people where they need to go to get services if they're involved in the justice system, rather than just sort of tossing them in jail and letting potential problems or existing problems get worse. So this will really help keep people out of jail that don't really need to be there, that sort of thing. So that's going to be that'll be good for everybody. The Innovation District made the cut as well, so that's good. So a lot of cool things going on at the Innovation District, and we've talked about the Innovation District a couple times before. This is the area that there was a study done, I believe, starting in 2015 by the Brookings Institution and the Project for Public Spaces, and they were really looking at that area around the Oklahoma Health Center, OUHSC, Presbyterian Health Foundation,
all the way over to
Automobile Alley, and trying to, because there's a lot of good research activity and biotech activity and other types of research activity there now, and trying to figure out a way to sort of bring people that are involved in those endeavors together in order to hopefully create even more entrepreneurial activity, a better sort of entrepreneurial ecosystem, and because that's really where the next generation of our job growth is going to come from, is that sort of thing. And so it's very, very important. We've got a really good opportunity there. there, and we don't want to kind of mess this up.
I think it's exciting that this will allow us to build some connection, not
Correct.
just physical, but opportunities for other people to connect within their industries and across industries.
And the surrounding neighborhoods as well.
Absolutely.
So yeah, and there was a firm that is named Perkins & Will that's involved in doing these types of land use studies, and they actually just completed one not too long ago, a few weeks ago.
Yeah, released it in maybe August.
Right.
August.
Yeah, early August for the Innovation District. And so Maps 4 is actually going to allow quite a big portion of the first stage of what was proposed in terms of the land use study to be done. So that's going to be great. So that's things like building an innovation hall. That's going to allow some people to come together. That's going to be a natural connection point, kind of situated around the Beacon of Hope area, if you're familiar with the area that's proposed to be. And then also the really cool thing is that there's an old YMCA that's the Foster Center that the city owns now. They're going to actually redo that, renovate that into the Foster Center for Entrepreneurship, and it'll basically be a small business incubator, kind of focusing on specifically minority-owned businesses. And so I think that's going to be great. That's exactly what we want to see. And then of course also better connectivity across I-235, hopefully bringing together the kind of the health center area and Automobile Alley, better for the people that work there, better for just your average pedestrians, people that might live downtown.
Yeah, who work and live downtown, who want to kind of venture out of that normal bubble.
Yeah.
It's going to be really great.
Widening that connection and doing some of their cool things that are going to allow people to traverse that a little bit better, whether you're on bike or on foot or whatever the case may be. So that's going to be great. The Freedom Center in Clara Looper Civil Rights Center. So we mentioned this when we were talking about this before, but the Freedom Center is really kind of where Clara Looper's original OKC civil rights efforts were based. And so
this will be able to preserve that history, educate the next generation about what took place here.
Right. It's in a little bit of disrepair right now, so this is going to allow them to, really make something cool out of that and really kind of help inform the community about history, and also could be a visitor destination as well. So I think that's pretty cool. Beautification in general. So we mentioned this before, but the term that's been thrown around has been extreme beautification. That's right. This is what we do prior to coming on camera every time. You probably noticed. But anyway, extreme beautification for certain targeted corridors. And so corridors that a lot of visitors tend to see just by way of going to the airport and kind of going around town aren't necessarily the best, doesn't give them visitors the best first impression of our city, kind of where we are as a community right now. In addition to just sort of elevating our own day-to-day experience, I think this is going to be great for everybody in general, the extreme beautification.
What Mayor Holt said today about this. He said he wanted us to make Oklahoma City as beautiful as we see it.
Right.
So that visitors see it the same way that we do.
Yeah, and I think that there's quite a bit of money, I want to say something around $1 million set aside just specifically for even more trees. So we planted quite a bit of trees along the river just recently, and I can tell you as a river trail user, frequent river trail user, how much of a difference
makes a huge
even
difference.
those the little seedlings right now that they're making for the landscape, and you just imagine what it's going to be like here in a few years. That's going to be great. So very cool on that. And then of course the multi-purpose outdoor stadium. So I think that's going to be great. A place for our professional soccer team to play, as well as
football, high school football championships.
Perhaps high school football championships. Yeah, it's amazing. We're the only top 50 city that doesn't have a venue like this on offer. And so yeah, this is a huge gap in our kind of offerings as far as a city and a community, and so it's going to be great to be able to fill that and hopefully have a lot of those really cool types of events that currently have to go to other cities in the state we can have them here instead.
It's exciting.
The capital city, a natural place for it to be.
A lot of potential for that.
Yeah, absolutely. In addition to growing some of those other types of events and things. So yeah, pretty cool.
16 projects.
16 projects.
It is a lot.
It is a lot. It's a lot to take in.
It's a lot of good stuff.
Yeah, and it is a lot of good stuff. So yeah, absolutely. The vote is going to be on December 10th. So like Haley said, be sure to get registered to vote. I believe
the number one thing.
The deadline to get registered in time to vote for the election.
November 15th.
November 15th, that's right. So you got to be registered by then. If you go to loveyourokc.com, there's a section for voter information right there on the homepage, kind of towards the bottom. And that has links where you can, if you're not sure if you're registered, you can check that out. If you need to update your address, if you've moved since the last time you registered, there are links and instructions to do that.
Confirm.
Just check it out.
Your
You
voter
want to make
registration,
sure
it's important.
Yeah, and also, follow the campaign accounts on social media.
Love Your OKC.
Love Your OKC.
All platforms.
Love Your OKC on Facebook and Instagram, and then Yes for Maps on Twitter.
Maps on Twitter. Okay.
Right, and so we'll have links to all those in the show notes as well. But that's where you'd want to go if you want to sign up to maybe help volunteer.
That's right. I was
going
to say, if you're as passionate about Oklahoma City as we are,
Right.
The Maps for campaign, Love Your OKC campaign is the exact right way to get involved.
Yep.
We need people to help us knock doors, call voters, all of the above. There's tons of volunteer opportunities.
lots of work to do.
So if
to
you
get
have
this
an
thing
extra
passed.
hour or two between now and December 10th, and let's face it, who does not, sign up and help us. We'd love to have you.
But yeah, I mean, and Maps has been so important to Oklahoma City's renaissance. It's really important.
The reason
that we
why
keep
a lot
it
of
going.
people in our generation are here.
Exactly.
And I think it's important that we continue those investments so that the next generation of people can come and build Oklahoma City into the city of the future.
That's right. That's right. So that's all we have time for today, guys. We really appreciate you joining us again on Audacity, the Velocity OKC show.
Again, you can rate, review, and subscribe to this podcast if you like what you're hearing. Feel free to share it with your friends if they need to know about the cool things that are happening in Oklahoma City.
Yeah, please do share it with your friends. If you have feedback for us, the best way to do that is just to email us, and that is networking@okcchamber.com. And if you'd like to reach out to us via social media, our social media channels here at the Chamber are generally OKC Chamber. And we'll have links to all those in the show notes as well.
That's right. Thanks for being here today. Remember, vote yes on December 10th. It's map season. Let's go, people.
Map season, that's right.
Map season. It's time. And we'll see you next time right here on Audacity.
See ya.